Hi everybody, Marty Rubin, and I'm back for another segment of Marty's Corner. And let's see who we have today. We have Wes Williams, who is playing the romantic.
Yes, very much so.
Handsome.
We'll see if they think so.
The extraordinaire, the smooth voice of Tony in West Side Story.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's great to have you here. I mean, the crowds have been absolutely loving it.
They've been awesome. The
Oh
crowds
my
have been
God,
fantastic.
Thanks,
Babylon.
Hey, you're right. They love you. You know, it's unbelievable.
Trying our best.
Yes. So, you were here 4 years ago
I was.
at the Argyle Theater.
I was.
For Spring Awakening.
Yes.
Now, somebody told me, was that your first professional gig?
That was my first professional gig, and I didn't do like summer stock or anything like that in college. So Spring Awakening was my first time that somebody paid me to sing and act on a stage.
Wow.
Really cool.
It's nice. And we've come like full cycle because
Yeah.
I understand that with this show, you're achieving equity status.
Yes, this is my first equity contract. So Argyle was my first.
Let me be the first to congratulate you.
Actually, just in my application today, so it's exciting. Yeah.
That's great. When you heard Argyle Theater was doing West Side Story, did you say, "Wow, I'd love to do the role of Tony"?
Oh yeah, I emailed my manager immediately and was like, I would love to be seen for this. And then he emailed Michael Casera, who's the casting, and they were like, we'll make sure he gets an appointment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had recently interviewed Sabina.
Yes.
Who plays Maria.
Oh yeah.
And she was telling me about, the bond, the trust that the two of you have, which is so big for this show.
Very much so.
You could feel the electricity when the first time you lay eyes on each other in the show.
Yeah.
The audience feels that electricity.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that helps you propel you to an even higher energy level when you have that kind of electricity?
No, 100%. I think Sabina and I are both like very similar in what we want to be as like storytellers, and that's like storytelling comes first before like acting and singing, or before singing and dancing. Like we want to make sure that that's what gets conveyed to the audience. And so I think when we both come in with that, and then we met a couple days before rehearsal just to say hi to each other, and so there was always kind of this baseline of trust. She's also done the show before, so she had all of this experience and professionalism coming into it. And so it just makes it really easy when you trust the other person, when you share similar views about what it means to be a storyteller. And we're also both very, very goofy, which one of the first things she asked me when we met up is like, is there something that you think about your Tony that might be different or whatever? And one of the first things I said is like, Tony's a goofball. He's a nerd who wears his heart on his sleeve, or he's just been waiting for an opportunity to. And so I think that really reads, and it's been thrilling.
Well, I have to tell you, the role of Tony, there's so much to that role. I mean, when they talk about theater, about being like a triple threat, meaning you act, you sing, you dance.
Mm-hmm.
I think of your role, if I can use a sports metaphor, I think of Tony, as a 5-tool player. Okay, 5 tools is in baseball, hit for average, hit for power, run, field, throw.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're doing all the things we said earlier, and then you're climbing up the balcony. You're singing love songs with Maria. You're in fight scenes here.
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to keep your equilibrium, your balance with all of that going on?
I mean, acting, specifically stage acting, is like a really physical job. Like whether you're and a lot of the ensemble has that even harder than me. Like these ensemble dancers are like killing every night, and they're
really good.
Luckily, I don't have to do some of the stuff that they have to do. But I mean, it's a physical thing, and like your fitness, whatever that means to you, is really important because it is an athletic event.
It really
Performing
is.
an athletic event. You have to have like the stamina and things to do like that, and it's still a journey. I'm still like, there are countless things after every show that I'm like, okay, that's something I want to improve on, that's something I wasn't quite happy with. Like that's one of my favorite things about acting, is that like, because it's subjective, not just to the audience but to yourself, like you will never achieve like perfection. There's always something to like grow and learn and improve. So, which I love.
There's in sports, there's so many rivalries through the years. Like in baseball, you have the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The New York Mets versus the Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
The rivalry in West Side Story is a legendary rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
Jets versus the Sharks.
Uh-huh.
The only difference is that's a life or death rivalry with the Jets and Sharks.
Ask the right Yankee or
right.
Sox player.
They say it's a life or death, but this is really life or death.
Absolutely.
As as your character, Tony, I mean, you try to step in and cool the rivalry a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could you take a step back and say, wow, that must have been hard for Tony to have to try to suppress some of that hate that, you know, that's obviously going on between the rival gangs.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tony, you know, at the start of the show, he's kind of left that behind. I don't think he necessarily, like, it's almost like he knows what the outcome, he wants the outcome to be, but he really doesn't have the means to, like, articulate how to do that.
Yes.
Or just to know how to do that, and that's why it doesn't happen.
Right.
He knows what he wants, but he doesn't know how to get it. I think he's left that behind a little bit in, like, towards the beginning of the show, and then meeting, you know, Maria, it kind of personifies it even more. I think, you know, with many things in today's day and age, if, you know, if somebody is uncomfortable with the idea of something, if something, you know, in their family or, you know, in their close circle experiences something like that, and it personifies that, you know, issue,
right,
whatever it is to them, it becomes a very different thing to see. And so,
yes,
you know, in the war council scene, I see Lieutenant Trank come in and use all these slurs to
which is rough to hear.
Yeah, and you know, as I mean, obviously as Wes, it's really rough to hear. But I think at that point, you know, whereas Tony, he might not have thought twice about it, like had he heard it prior. Like now, it's about the family of somebody he loves dearly.
That's
He's
right.
like, well, I don't.
Right.
You know, like don't say, you know. So.
Well, it's funny you bring that. This show is still as relevant as the movie that was 60 plus years ago.
Oh yeah.
It still is relevant. What do you think the message of West Side Story is?
I mean, it's a timeless one, and it's. I mean, we just had, you know, Parade had its first preview on Broadway last night, and there were Nazi protesters outside, and it's acceptance. It's ultimately acceptance,
yes,
and like the issues that can arise when that isn't, when like tolerance and acceptance aren't widely, you know, viewed and appreciated.
It's such an emotionally draining role for yourself. How were you able to flip the switch when the final curtain comes down and, you know, and it's over? Like how do you get calm after all of that?
I mean, luckily, you know, Tony's track is, you know, spoiler alert, he dies, and so
yes,
like that makes it because I've been released, but also I really try not to. I know that there are actors who like really bring all of that with them, and I really try to be an actor who like leaves that all on the stage.
Right.
I'm not somebody who like takes it home with me or does anything like that. I don't know if I would call that like method, but like that's just something that I don't really do that.
Yes.
So for me, it's always been pretty easy to leave it on the stage. But you know, just because I can emotionally leave it on the stage, there's definitely like physical. You know, your voice is a muscle, and you know,
yes,
there's yelling and singing and stuff. So like after the show, I'm not going out. I'm drinking coconut water and chilling out and getting my 8 hours of sleep, and so that's definitely.
You know, when I'm watching sports at home, you know, it's a sports reference on Marty's corner, right? But I'm watching sports, and there's a pivotal moment. I lean in. I'm going, this is big right here. You feel it when you see Maria for the first time.
Yeah.
You know you feel that, and you feel that electricity between the two of you. And then later when you're thinking about it, you know, you start singing, I Just Met a Girl Named Maria.
Yeah.
I mean, your voice, you have such a powerful, emotional, smooth voice. There's almost an opera quality to it, I have to tell you.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
Never thought I'd hear that.
Yeah. Would you give us the pleasure of hearing a little snippet of I Just Met a Girl Named Maria?
Yes. Maria, I just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. If you want to come and see Wes Williams, bringing it every night and twice on Saturday.
Twice on Saturday.
Come on down to the Argyle Theater. We're playing Wednesday night through Sunday, straight through to April 2nd, and we can't wait to see you at the Argyle Theater.